Hey everyone, I'm Chris, and this is Cue the Credits. Welcome back to Cue the Credits, the home of everything physical media, boutique releases, steelbooks, and the art of collecting. Today's video is a little bit of a two-parter, a double dip you could say, a Disney double dip, because we are talking Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, and Kingdom of Heaven, both on 4K Steelbook. Both of these films are absolute epics. One based in the sea, one realistically in the desert. They're pretty far apart, but they both have absolute passionate fan bases, and it's really exciting to see them on these 4K Steelbook releases. First up, we have got this week's release in the UK, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. This is from director Peter Weir and stars Russell Crowe. Now, Master and Commander has kind of gained a cultish status for being this epic seafaring adventure starring Russell Crowe, just coming off Gladiator, but also just for its visuals and sound. So getting it finally on 4K, you can imagine everyone who loves this film absolutely erupted. So let's get on to the actual Steelbook. To start, we have got the front of the Steelbook there. As you can see, we've got a little bit of spot gloss on Russell Crowe and the ship in the bottom. Master and Commander is debossed there. I'm not sure if you can really see it on the camera, but it's an absolutely beautiful design in this kind of tealy blue. And then we move around to the back and another bit of debossing there on the rear. Onto the spine as well, you get the full Master and Commander with a little bit of designs and no studio logos on there, so it's going to look really, really clean on your shelf. Onto the interior of the Steelbook now, you get a lovely shot of Russell Crowe on the left hand side, and then you've got your discs, which the 4K disc does follow the same design as the front cover with the kind of sketched ships there. You also get a single Blu-ray disc in this as well. All in all, it's a lovely design, and honestly what Disney are putting out with their 4K Steelbooks at the moment, it's something to really be applauded. We could just have kind of a generic poster design on there, or just nothing special, but they are actually putting some time into these designs, which is really nice. I wasn't too sure on the Steelbook when I first pre-ordered it, because the actual standard Amaray with a slipcase, which I'll put the picture up here, is still a really, really gorgeous release, but seeing it in person with the little bit of debossing there, I'm really, really pleased that I actually picked up the Steelbook. Now onto the actual transfer. Master and Commander has been out for a couple of weeks already in the US, and this seems to be starting a trend with the Disney Sony releases, where they are coming out in the US and then a couple of weeks later we're actually getting them drop in the UK, which is good and bad. There was a little bit of controversy online with this, because the debossing that we've got in the UK isn't in the US ones, which is really, really weird. And also there was quite a few mix-ups with discs. So some people were getting 2 sets of Blu-ray discs, some people were getting 2 sets of 4K discs. I'm thankful to say that this is all resolved now, because I got both the 4K and the Blu-ray in this one. But the 4K transfer of Master and Commander looks absolutely incredible. From how the ocean looks to inside the ships and everything in between, it just absolutely pops on 4K. This is coming with Dolby Vision and a Dolby Atmos track. So if your setup is ready for that, you're going to have an absolutely wonderful experience with Master and Commander. In a lot of various other reviews, people have been saying that Master and Commander is a showcase disc for them, but this 4K transfer has got a little bit of controversy. The actual audio track wasn't really up to par on that US release. Now, personally, when checking this out, I didn't have any issues with the audio track, though I can't remember the last time I actually sat down and watched Master and Commander, so I don't have a proper memory to compare it to, though I would absolutely say there are certain scenes that you can use on this disc to demo your sound system. Of course, that Dolby Vision and HDR really enhance those darker scenes. Of course, that Dolby Vision / HDR really does enhance the presentation on this. As I said, I think it makes the picture really pop on the screen, and it's really nice to see this presentation has got some love and care gone into it, because I know how much of a dedicated fan base that Master and Commander does have. Of course, with that fan base, Master and Commander does deserve the best possible presentation, and personally I think this Steelbook does an absolutely wonderful job at showcasing this. Next up we've got Kingdom of Heaven, and you're probably thinking, why is Kingdom of Heaven in this video? I mean, honestly, half of it is just so I can do this and talk through the review, because this is a really rad Steelbook design. The reason why Kingdom of Heaven is in this video is because this has recently been restocked in the UK, so it came on the same day as Master and Commander, and why not put two Fox, Disney, Sony, Steelbook 4K epics in the same video, right? So this actually got released quite a few months ago and it went out of stock and has been on the scalper bandwagon for quite a while. Thankfully, because of this restock, I managed to pick it up at retail, which is absolutely A1, but this Steelbook design is absolutely gorgeous. I adore it. In comparison to the standard Amaray release, which is just there, I think this just hits a lot better. So, Kingdom of Heaven. This is from director Ridley Scott, and this is his Crusades epic, starring Orlando Bloom and an absolute just road show cast of like everyone you could absolutely imagine. Like, you will be going through this movie just going, I know him, I know him, I know her, I know him. It's a really fun time. Kingdom of Heaven has had a rocky relationship with home video releases in the past, so it's really nice to see a kind of definitive edition of it on 4K. But it doesn't stop it from having its fair share of questionable choices. So let's get this unboxed and have a look at the actual packaging. To the front of the Steelbook, of course, we have got the King's mask adorning the front. We've got a little bit of debossing and embossing on there with Kingdom of Heaven in the eyes. Moving on to the spine, we've got Kingdom of Heaven just in that standard like black and silver. And moving on to the back, we of course just got a straight gloss finish on this, an artwork showcasing the sword. Opening up the Steelbook, we have got a bumper 3-disc release of this with some lovely artwork on all 3 of the discs that you can see just here. And then taking out the discs for the moment, you can see this wonderful design with Orlando Bloom in battle, which has generally been the image that we've got on the majority of home video releases, especially in the UK anyway. So that's a little bit more of a deep dive into the packaging. I absolutely, as I said, adore this Steelbook. I think it looks so cool, and I can't wait to put it front facing somewhere on the shelf because it is such a rad looking Steelbook. But onto the discs. So as I said, this is I want to say definitive edition, but it's kind of not. It is absolutely stacked. So as you saw, it's a 3-disc release. We've got one 4K, which is the director's cut. We've got another Blu-ray, which is also the director's cut. Then we've got another Blu-ray of just loads of bonus features. Unfortunately, because Ridley Scott wants you to see the film as the director's cut, that is the only way that you are seeing it on 4K. You're not getting the standard theatrical cut on this release, so you are only getting that director's cut. And that clocks in at around about 3 hours and 13 minutes, give or take a couple of seconds. It adds nearly an hour's worth of footage, which in one hand is good. In another hand, it would be really nice to see the theatrical cut as well. But where this film lacks in cuts of the film, it makes up for in bonus features. There is over 8 hours of bonus features on this specific release. It is a bit of a far cry from the Master and Commander disc where you get like 3 little things. With all that being said, Kingdom of Heaven looks incredible on 4K. Once again, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and that HDR, just the desert scenes, the city scenes, just the costumes, the battles. This looks so good. With that, the Atmos track that you get fully immerses you in this world, from little crackling bits in your like rear left speakers, as well as having like specific dialogue be put around you, so you really feel like you're immersed in that world. This is absolutely one of the films that benefits from 4K, benefits from that HDR, and benefits from that Atmos track as well. It is a really strong release, and I'm glad, even though it took me a little bit of time from the original street date to get my hands on Kingdom of Heaven, it's an absolute thumbs up from me. So there you are. Those are the 2 releases that came out this week. Technically, both are epics in their own way. As I said, Master and Commander being a seafaring adventure, Kingdom of Heaven being a Crusades drama in the desert. They're a little bit far from each other, but both incredible. And they both massively benefit from being on the 4K format. Quite honestly, as steelbooks, they also look fantastic. As I said, I'm really pleased with the Master and Commander, and I was on the fence about getting the standard version of that. Kingdom of Heaven, there was no question. This steelbook is probably one of my favourites of the year, just for that front design. And that's saying something, that if you can nail the front, the back doesn't really matter. This is great. I would say if you're a fan of these films, maybe not necessarily a steelbook collector, these are both worth your time. But the transfers are exactly the same, and that Amaray release as well, so you can pick those up if you don't really want the steelbook in your collection. I've left links down below for both of these titles' standard releases if you are interested. Anything that you do purchase through the links does go on to help the channel, just so you're aware. So are you a Master and Commander seafarer, or are you a Kingdom of Heaven crusader? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Cue the Credits. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button down below, leave me a comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's really, really appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.